Horizontv, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, mpenzi mtazamaji wa Kurunzi ya Taifa Horizon TV. Karibu, ni siku nyingine, siku ya Alhamisi katika Swabah Show, na bila shaka siku ya leo kwa kawaida tunaangazia masuala ya afya, na leo tutakuwa tunaangazia masuala ya hedhi. Na unajua kwa dada zetu katika nchi hivi leo wana shida sana wanapopata siku zao za hedhi, hawawezi kuzungumza na familia yao, na pia hawawezi kujua jinsi ya kudumu afya katika siku zao za hedhi na katika swala zima la hedhi kwa kina dada. Lakini hayo ni hapo baadaye. Kwa sasa tunaanza na uchambuzi wa magazeti, and as usual I have a panelist with me in the studio to help me with the newspaper review this morning. Welcome to the Swabah Show. I am Mariam Mwacharo. I have with me Hafsa from Kenya Medical Institute College, Kenya Medical College Training College. I also have our own Eliud, si surageni ile ambayo mmeweza kuiona kila siku mnaiona, na vile vile na bwana Talo pale. Tuko karibu tayari kuweza kuanza newspaper review yetu. Moja kwa moja mtazamaji, tukianza na gazeti la People Daily. Habari iliyoweza kupewa kipaumbele pale ni kwamba Kinoti Haji on do or die dams mission, and arrests now beckon over 21 billion Kimwarer Aror projects following DCI DPP trip to finalize the probe. The story goes on to page 6 of the People Daily. That is the story that has been given forth on page 1 on the People Daily. And it goes on to say a team of top Kenyan security officials arrived in Italy yesterday, and they'll be discussing about the plight of the dam and how people lost 21 billion Kenyan shillings to the project of the dam. Eliud, what do you have to say about that?
Well, the war against corruption in this country has been as much as rhetoric. Actually, there is no significant effort being put in place to make sure the corruption is won. You look at the Economic Crimes Act that we have as a country. If you read through that act, it actually is a nice act, but one link is missing. That link of providing timelines through which these corruption cases can be prosecuted. You know, a case is taken to court and it takes forever, and that case dies a natural death. But if we had timelines, like we have the timelines for a presidential petition, and if the Constitution can provide timelines for a presidential petition, why can't an act of parliament be put in place, either through an amendment, to introduce timelines so that when a case is taken to court, we know it will take about 1 month, and then a judgment is rendered, so that we don't keep running a race that is endless. You understand?
Yeah.
Until we do that, DCI and Kinoti will keep flying abroad to go and investigate the obvious, and then they come back with reports, they take to court, and it dies a natural death.
On matters just relating to that, just on the page 1 of the People Daily, we have the governor's MCAs blow 15 billion on trips, and the story goes on saying Kisii County tops the list of devolved units that spent highest amount of money on local and foreign travels. Now we know that devolution was brought into this country to help people, so that ifike mashinani serikali, so that we can help. But if we hear stories of 15 billion shillings just on trips, what's your take on that, Bwana Talo?
Okay, that is a lot of money, and if that money was used very well to help Kenyans, maybe we could be somewhere, maybe we could not be having the issues about health, about poverty. So my take on that is that, you see, the governors and the MCAs, they don't understand their work. Their work is to serve Kenyans. And maybe they're trying to, they should stop, because this is the second term after we promulgated the new constitution, whereby now we have devolved government. So they should stop what they are doing right now and focus on doing work. You see, they're still like maybe celebrating, going up, they're going to different countries. You see, there's nothing you can learn from another country. If you're a leader, serve the people. Make sure you're doing what the people voted you to do. You should not be like what they're doing, like they're going to check, I don't know which country is doing good in health and what. Start doing it so that now people can visit Kenya, not by you just going to another country, maybe visiting and using money which may be used in helping Kenyans.
As we head on to the Standard paper there, the story that has been given leadway is anger over Kenya Power token scam. Now, thousands of consumers caught up in multi-billion shilling electricity theft carried out by Power Farm staff are now being forced to pay again for stolen tokens, leaving many in debt and darkness. The story goes on to page 6 over there. Inaelezea kwamba Kenya Power sasa wamekuwa wakitubia stima ama vipi? What's your take on that, if I may ask you?
I think this is something we have been experiencing most of our times, and many people, many Kenyans actually, and many households in Kenya depend on the token.
Yes.
As we speak, last night I just remember I had put 1,000 units into my token, and before even 30 minutes it was already, the lights were already going off. That one shows you that there's corruption going on. There's a way the system has been made that many people are suffering. You know, units going very fast, and before even it has reached the point that you're supposed to use, the units are gone. So I think what we're supposed to do, the government is supposed to check on this, look at the leaders who are leading this department, and we should have a change of leaders so that we are able to change the strategies that are used there in order for us to get to avoid the corruption that is going on. Maybe
corruption has been
Mariam, on that KPLC issue, this has been an issue that as Kenyans we going through. Most Kenyans, there was an issue whereby you are being charged some money, maybe when you're buying tokens which you don't know where it was going. I think the government said it was going to resolve the issue. So the fact that now that loophole was like filled, now I see that maybe we may be having another problem. So I'll advise the government maybe to check on that, because most Kenyans are suffering about that.
Corruption has been a word we've had in so many years here in the country. From Kenya Power now, we have the dam scheme that we've just talked about. We have so many other departments. What is the way forward? Should we have an overhaul of the whole government, Edwin?
The government, as I've always said, knows what to do in every aspect. When you hear about this token scam, the government knows why this is happening. It knows. And you see, in no time, Kenyans will start to speak of who is working with Kenya Power to do such things. We know. So we'll speak at the right time. What is happening at Kenya? In fact, Kenya Power is our problem in this country. Kenya Power is a threat to the Big Four agenda. Kenya Power is a threat to sustainable development goals.
How so?
Kenya Power is a threat.
How so?
Look at our power tariffs. Our power tariffs are 5 times that of Ethiopia. Companies are setting up in Ethiopia while leaving our country. Because when the cost of power is high, the cost of production goes high. And that cost of production is transferred to the end user, to the consumer. And that's why companies cannot save enough to invest more, to create jobs and build more infrastructure and modernize their machines. Because Kenya Power takes a large sum of their monies and profits. So until Kenya Power realizes that it is necessary and there is urgent need to reduce the cost of power in this country, we will be moving forward. And again, lastly on that issue, you see, there is no privatization of production of power. Kenya Power is the mother and father of power in this country. What we need to do is to liberalize power production so that we allow private investment into power generation, so that we have alternatives. If Kenya Power is strangling us, we will go for private options so that we are moving together as a country. But Kenya Power, iwache hii mchezo bwana.
And also, I would like to add on that, that as much as we will be able to clean up these people who are doing the corruption, maybe also many of the things that we suffer in Kenya as far as organizations are concerned is the cartels. The first thing for us to be able to do away with all these things, we need to also kill this cartel issue, and we are able to have a good environment to be able to change these leaders from these organizations. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, about corruption. You see, me, I'm in support of the handshake because I want to see the fruits of the handshake. You understand, we have been talking about corruption day in, morning, afternoon, evening, but nothing is being done. So my take is that I support handshake, and this time let us see them arresting somebody, and somebody should even be jailed for his lifetime, because
one of the officials,
you see, like China, how they developed. They say that if you are found you're corrupt, you are killed, sentenced to death. So that is the thing that changed China, and you can see China has changed right now. They're doing well. So if we want to end corruption, if we want to develop, if we want to give services to Kenya, we should end corruption. We should not just be talking about corruption.
So you're saying that strict measures should be taken to every corrupt official.
Yes.
Heading on, katika gazeti la Taifa Leo, habari iliyopewa kipaumbele pale ni kwamba Babeli ya Uhuru, na ni kwamba baraza la mawaziri kunradhi la Rais Uhuru Kenyatta limepasuka mirengo minne, hali inayotishia kuzima ndoto yake ya kutimiza ajenda 4 za maendeleo kufikia mwaka 2022, na migawanyiko hiyo imechochewa tu tofauti zilizoko kati yao, kwamba kuna mawaziri wengine wako upande wa Uhuru na mawaziri wengine wako upande wa Ruto na mawaziri wengine wapo tu katikati. Pengine nikikuuliza Edwin, na kuona hapo unatabasamu, unachukulia vipi ili swala? Je, serikali yetu inasambaratika?
Serikali iko imara. Serikali iko imara chini ya uongozi wa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta. Hilo sina shaka, na there is no doubt. Swala la ubabeli wa Uhuru, cabinet inaonekana kama iko na cracks. Let us not forget that this is a 50-50 government. President Kenyatta 50, William Ruto 50. That was the arrangement. Number 2, it is Ruto who forwarded the 50% of the cabinet and Uhuru the other 50. Obviously, if Ruto forwarded my name, I will side with him. I don't want to go against my boss. I want to keep my job. Number 3, Article 131, Subarticle 1, gives the president the power as the head of state and government. If you go to Article 152, Subarticle 4, the Kenyan Constitution, the president may dismiss a cabinet secretary. May, which means he might choose not to dismiss even if the cabinet secretary is incompetent. He might choose not to dismiss because of the Constitution. That's the Constitution. If you go to Article 5 of 152, it tells you president shall dismiss. That means must. If Parliament adopts a resolution to have a cabinet secretary dismissed. So if Parliament can step in and say, hey, Your Excellency, we think your cabinet is not working, and we are going to sanction our legislative authority to dismiss this cabinet secretary, the president will be compelled by the operation of Article 152(5) of the Kenyan Constitution, and that cabinet secretary will be dismissed. But as we hold things constant, as things are right now, the president will just look on. The president is not interested in firing anybody. In fact, he's giving them a chance to redeem themselves. So it is our members of parliament who betray us most of the time. They're only going for salaries. So
while the president is very quite confident about his, cabinet secretaries, he needs them to change, they're not showing any hope. So what are you saying? The president should now put his foot down and go back to the constitution and make, changes way forward? Yes, he should. If somebody's not working, he should be fired. Okay. Because even in any organization, if you're not performing, you should be fired. Yeah. Yes. Daily Nation pale tukiangalia page 1, shock for gamblers as bet lines are blocked. Directive by the Betting Control and Licensing Board could see an unspecified amount of cash locked up in accounts of gamers who use mobile money services to place their bets and receive their wins. I think this is very good news, especially in the Muslim community, and not just the Muslim community, because betting just steals all our money. What do you have to say about that, especially, Yes, first of all, as a Muslim, from my point of view, gambling is haram. It's forbidden. It's not allowed. Gambling also, and on a very light note, also takes all your time. It has a lot of impact on our youth.
And most of the time, gambling, and once you involve yourself in gambling, probability of you being hurt or killed or you being involved in a fight is very high, because the interests are common. And the people who are playing the gambling, everyone wants to win that thing and get the money. And if you fail, you feel like that.
You feel frustrated.
Yeah, you feel frustrated. You can even be depressed. Many people kill themselves because of losing the gambling. So I think we should avoid this thing, and we should avoid the youth being idle, because most of the time when your mind is idle is when you decide to think or look into this. So I think we should involve the youth into more activities other than being idle.
Yeah, that is true.
On that aspect of gambling,
very quickly, please.
Quickly. This country, we can never regulate gambling while we still have the gambling farms in place.
So they should all be shut down?
If the government wants to tackle this issue decisively, it must shut down these farms. But again, you know, most of the
youth,
yes, are the ones engaging in gambling, because they have no any other practical economic target that they would go for. So they see gambling is the next heaven to us. So yes, they go for it. And gambling is just like a way of, you know, it just depends on what you're gambling on. Starting a business, that's a gamble. It could collapse, it could thrive. Placing a bet, you would win, you would fail.
You would lose,
you get?
Yeah.
So just that this one causes addiction, but the business way makes you productive and think innovatively, and that way you're going to help other people create jobs and pay taxes to the government.
So your take is that despite the fact that the government wants to shut down the gambling farms, then yeah, we provide avenues for the youth to actually develop themselves. Naona muda ndo huo unakwenda mbio. Let's come back to that after the break kindly. Mtazamaji, naona muda unatupa kisogo. Pengine tu nikigusia pale katika gazeti la Taifa Leo pia imeweza kuangaziwa ile habari ya kwamba MPs wakiskwanda 15 billion on the trips. Tutakaporejea tutaweza kuangazia maswala fiche ambayo yako kwenye gazeti na maswala mengine zaidi. Usiondoke.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Walk with us as we tell you the stories of our society.
Wengine atavaa mtandio kichwani, utafikiri ni kijihandkerchief.
Enzi za wakati wa kusema ati alisema, akasisitiza, akihutubia wanahabari, enzi hizo hazipo tena.
Kuchimbua na kunakili matukio kwa undani.
We want to create current awareness,
ranging from adventure, human interest and inspirational stories,
ili kuweza kukuelimisha, kukuburudisha na kukubumbuisha.
Words have been said, but now it is time to lay the foundation that will impact the world.
Terrorism is terrorism, no matter who is behind the trigger.
Abu Najma with kids. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. Abu Najma with kids. Abu Najma with kids. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Hadith.
On the next episode,
watu wasema Ayatul Kursi ukisoma kwa makini ni dalili ya kutosha kwamba hii Qur'ani ni kitabu cha Mwenyezi Mungu. vile Mwenyezi Mungu huyu anayeaminiwa na Waislamu amejisifu kwa sifa gani. Kama kwamba aonyesha kwamba maadamu Mwenyezi Mungu sifa zake ni hizi, lazima kila mtu amwamini Mwenyezi Mungu huyu. Sasa atakakueleza watu pamoja na hayo kwamba Mwenyezi Mungu anastahiki kuaminiwa na watu wa Waislamu wote, lakini lao mtu hakuwa Muislamu hafai kulazimishwa kwa Muislamu kwa nguvu. Mwenyezi Mungu asema la ikraha fi din, hakuna kulazimishwa mtu yoyote kuingia katika dini ya Uislamu.
Qur'ani mwombezi wangu, Qur'ani kumbao langu, ni kitabu chenye haki huipati.
Horizon TV, kurunzi ya taifa. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Tena katika kitengo cha pili cha Swabah Show ukiwa nami Mariam Mwacharo, leo ikiwa siku ya Alhamisi, siku ya kuangazia afya yako. Lakini kwanza tukiendelea na uchambuzi wa magazeti moja kwa moja, nikienda katika gazeti la Daily Nation pale on page 34 we have a story, Tehran warns Britain over oil tanker seizure. Now if you take a look at that story, Iran terms illegal the interception and detention of a vessel of Gibraltar coast. Iran's President Hassan Rouhani warned Britain today of consequences over the detention of an Iranian oil tanker off the coast of Gibraltar. What's your take on this? There's a lot of fight in, between Iran, the British government. We also have Turkey that is now drilling oil all over, and they're all fighting for this oil. What do you have to say about that with these countries?
Okay, what I have to say is that I feel that is it is illegal. The stage of the tank for Iran, whereby you see these are they're competing for the market. I understand that Britain they drill oil, and also Iran also do the same. So what they are doing is just fighting for maybe market, and also superiority. They want to be superior more. One country want to be superior more than the other. So I feel that they should stop doing that and maybe concentrate on looking for markets. Like in Africa, they can get markets instead of just starting war that is not supposed to happen. Yeah.
The fight on that oil is definitely, does it mean that whichever country that has more oil gets more power? Because I feel like the world has so many continents, so why fight over it?
You see, the issue about oil, if you see any country with oil, always they are fighting, people fighting in the country and also in different countries. I think they want the power. You see, the superpower. They want to be superpower in producing oil. So that is the thing that is causing all that. People want to have that power in
because of the markets,
yes,
and
the
because
market
oil
and
introduces many other countries to other products at the same time.
Yes,
it's like the fuel for everything.
Yes.
Heading on to page 3 of Daily Nation, we have a very interesting story there. To wear or not to wear a helmet, the debate on hygiene rages on. Now, to wear or not to wear a helmet, that is the question border passengers struggle with every time they climb onto what has quickly become Kenya's most popular and most dangerous form of transport. The internal debate is not on the safety, rather, it's about the hygiene. So I know that, wearing a helmet is very important for your security, but why do you have to debate on hygiene?
There are two perspectives here. There is the safety and there is the hygiene. As far as health is concerned, hygiene comes first, because once there is no hygiene, there is no need of me wearing that helmet, maybe of someone who has been worn by someone who had some skin disease on the head. And the moment I wear, just because I'm going from town to Sauti, for example, in the name of safety, I wear this helmet. And at the end of the day, I tend to use millions of shillings to treat myself from this disease. So I think we should look on the hygiene in more than the safety. Hygiene comes first. If this, for example, we are very happy for this formal means of transport, for example, the taxify borders and the safe borders. This, they really help people, but also I think the safe borders and the taxify, especially the safe borders, they have introduced this net you have to wear on the head before you, and it's a disposable one. When one customer uses it, the helmet remains to be the same, but when one customer uses the net, he goes away with it or throws it, and he ends up protecting himself from whatever that you could have gotten from the helmet maybe. So safe hygiene comes first, and if you want to make people safe and you want to look on their safety, then hygiene and safety should go hand in hand.
Hand in hand.
But one fact which we need to do that, you should not stop wearing a helmet because of hygiene, but we should have something maybe so that maybe when you can buy your helmet even if you want, so that maybe, you see, safety is very important, and most accidents are caused by...
You buy your helmet?
Yes, if it will keep you safe. You understand, we have many accidents on these motorbikes. So I understand that as hygiene, they should be hygienic. First of all, the government should come in, the health sector of the government, and try to make sure that those people who are practicing, and also the transport ministry should come in, so that they ensure that if you're practicing the border transport, you have the safety and also the hygiene part of it. You are okay with that?
Okay.
I think also the government should come in that the government should make sure any personal I mean any person who is maybe whose income is coming from riding a motorbike, or maybe this online means of transport, the government should make sure that these people who are giving out these services are looking on the hygiene
they
also.
are vetted also on hygiene.
Exactly.
Let's move on to another very interesting story. You know that today is World Population Day.
Yes.
Celebrating, populating the world. And, population helps in the fact that, manufacturing, food, medicine, we have people to work in all these other sectors. As we continue on this, the President of Tanzania, Magufuli, he says on the, if I may quote the Star, page 16 says, set your ovaries free to have more babies, Magufuli tells women. Now, President John Magufuli urged Tanzania's women to set their ovaries free and bear more children to boost the economy into a regional powerhouse, a step critics say would instead worsen inequality and poverty. First, to mention, Islam usually advocates for many children as a religion. But why possibly is this move being taken, especially by the President of Tanzania, Magufuli? What's your take on that? I can see that you're smiling.
Thank you. Magufuli says he compares Tanzania with China and says China has a larger population and then with a growing economy. Tanzania wants to create a population larger. Right now, it currently stands at around 55 million people. China, I don't want to talk about it. Now, you see, the population has to grow against a growing economy. Because if you bring children forth without the prospects of how these children will go to school, will get Medicare, how these children will get the social services of quality standard, and then you're creating a crisis. A crisis is building up. So it's not just about giving birth, but it's about having a well-calculated economic plan on how these people will get their service, because these children must get quality education. These children must get quality hospital. If you go to Tanzania and you'll see how hospitals are crowded, and President John Pombe Magufuli tells people get more babies. So what are we doing? And that is fine, people can give birth, but again, Magufuli, yes, Tanzania economy is really growing, and if they can keep you know, doing the economic homework well, then they can get as many as they want.
Yeah, and that is very crucial because it is also covered in the Business Daily on page 12 and 13 here. We see that it is also crucial for Kenya because we have census that is coming up. So do we tell our government that yes, we need to procreate more, but also create avenues? But we've been singing about these avenues of jobs and employment and stuff like that. So what's the way forward?
Okay, for me, I want to disagree with my friend here. People should procreate.
Yes.
We are given, God said we should procreate. We should not look at maybe the economy and everything. You see, what is killing economy is corruption. And if we were doing it the right way, maybe we could be like Nigeria. I want to take another example of Nigeria. Nigeria, they have a population of around 200 million. And you see the economy is more than Kenyan economy. So we should not say that when people are procreating, maybe poverty is coming. So I support President Pombe Magufuli about that. So I support that, and I tell people to procreate. They should not, like right now I'm seeing people, they want to give birth to 2 children, maybe 1. You should not limit yourself. If God says you have 20, it's okay, have 20. And also work hard for you to support them.
It is important to note. It is important to note. If you look at China boasts of a robust technology, legendary infrastructure. Yes. Nigeria are boosting of oil production. We, Kenya, tea is the leading export we have. Yet even not enough effort is being taken around it to make Kenya really a leading tea giant, you know. So these countries with growing economies, they have a model that they are advancing. If it is oil, if it's legendary infrastructure, that is earning revenue in billions of dollars.
We have oil in Turkana, so it will drain more, drill more.
Coming back to the same point, good governance.
Yes. When we have good leadership, good governance, then the government is ready to tell, they're ready to tell the citizens or the people or the nation that you can give birth or have more kids as much as possible. Then it means they have already created a platform for these kids growing and the youth coming up to be able to stand for themselves in terms of education.
But do you think the country Kenya should take that cause as well? We already have enough problems, don't we?
Yes, but population can't stop our problems. It's the leadership that can stop our problems. For example, if we come together and stop this Uhuru Ruto thing and focus on our citizens, focus on our youth, focus on our health sectors, stop corruption, I think this will be good for the citizens.
Yeah, okay, and also if we are many, will have a lot of manpower, so we should even give Uganda manpower. Yes, we can give our neighboring country manpower.
And that reminds me, that is why in the religion, in Islam, we are encouraged to have many children so that we can have that much manpower. And the Prophet ﷺ said that when we meet in Jannah, his ummah can be large. Yeah, so that he can pride himself in the ummah. Last but not least, we know that terrorism has been a thorn in the country. And there's the terrorism bill that is now going forth, talking about devolving terrorism into schools. We possibly could talk more about that in our subsequent topics. But basically, it's just talking about, the government is thinking of starting to empower the youth in schools and children in secondary schools and primary schools to be able to detect the signs and symptoms of radicalization and terrorism. That's food for thought for you. Tomorrow, maybe when you come back here, we'll have something to say about it. Mtazamaji, kufikia hapo tunamaliza uchambuzi wa magazeti. Tutakaporejea tunaanza na kipindi chetu ambacho kitaweza kuangazia afya yako, na kama nilivyoweza kukuambia hapo awali, leo tutakuwa tunazungumzia masuala ya hedhi na afya ya hedhi kwa kina dada zetu. Usiondoke.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Walk with us as we tell you the stories of our society.
Wengine atavaa mtandio kichwani, utafikiri ni kijihandkerchief.
Enzi za wakati wa kusema ati alisema akasisitiza akihutubia wanahabari, enzi hizo hazipo tena.
Kwa kuchimbua na kunakili matukio kwa undani.
We want to create current awareness,
ranging from adventure, human interest and inspirational stories,
ili kuweza kukuelimisha, kukuburudisha na kukubumbuisha.
Words have been said, but now it is time to lay the foundation that will impact the world.
Terrorism is terrorism, no matter who is behind the trigger.
Abu Najma with kids. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. Abu Najma with kids. Abu Najma with kids. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Hadith.
On the next episode,
watu wasema Ayatul Kursi ukisoma kwa makini ni dalili ya kutosha kwamba hii Qur'ani ni kitabu cha Mwenyezi Mungu. Vile Mwenyezi Mungu huyu anayeaminiwa na Waislamu amejisifu kwa sifa gani? Kama kwamba aonyesha kwamba maadamu Mwenyezi Mungu sifa zake ni hizi, lazima kila mtu amwamini Mwenyezi Mungu huyu. Sasa atakakueleza watu pamoja na hayo kwamba Mwenyezi Mungu anastahili kuaminiwa na watu wa Waislamu wote, lakini lao mtu hakuwa Muislamu hafai kulazimishwa kwa Muislamu kwa nguvu. Mwenyezi Mungu asema la ikraha fi din, hakuna kulazimishwa mtu yoyote kuingia katika dini ya Uislamu.
Qur'ani mwombezi wangu, Qur'ani pumbao langu, ni kitabu chenye haki huipati.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are now at the Arena 1. And over here we have player of the day.
I'm back to beat Hamza's team.
Is it diver?
I chose Surah Al-Mutaffifin. I don't know the names, but Nabi Isa said, I am a slave of Allah. Is it Prophet Luqman?
1 point for this team.
Welcome to Active Sunday.
Things which will happen at the last day, which is very shocking.
Waylun lil mutaffifin.
That's not fair because I wasn't here.
It's a happy, happy, happy day. Oh, what a happy day it is for Active Sunday.
Kalamu imeinuliwa kwa watu sampuli tatu, yani hawaandikiwi madhambi. Wa kwanza mtoto mdogo mpaka atakapo balighi. Mtu amelala akaota, akazungumza, akapiga makelele, akabobokwa, haandikiwi madhambi. Na mtu ambaye ni mwandazimu mpaka akili yake itakaporudi. Yoyote miongoni mwenu ambaye atakuwa ni mgonjwa au ala safarin, au atakuwa katika safari, fa'iddatu min ayamin ukhar, anaruhusiwa kula kisha atalipa baadaye. Muhimu zile ambazo wadaiwa uziweke hisabu, na kila ukilipa uondoshe mpaka atakapomaliza.
This is the street quiz. We are back. What's your name, bro?
Mustafa Awad.
So I'm looking for country number 023.
Nairobi.
Turkana. Nanti.
I don't know.
Ihsan inamaanisha ni mazuri.
Right now I don't remember.
Pana Nairobi ni 047. Ukitaka kujua ni gani? Tazama street quiz ndani ya Horizon TV. Bro, here is your t-shirt inshallah. Horizon branded t-shirt from Horizon TV.
Nachukua fursa hii kukaribisha katika kipindi chako cha kila wiki.
Neno hili fiqh ni ufahamu, yani kufahamu kitu.
La jirani ni lipi, la mkubwa ni lipi, la mtoto ni lipi, la usiku ni lipi, la mchana ni lipi. Hiyo ndio yaitwa fiqh.
Dini hii ya Uislamu kila kitu, hatutafuti popote.
Kunywa maji atakavyo Mungu.
Kwa nini Mwenyezi Mungu ameharamisha nguruwe? Kwa nini Mwenyezi Mungu, mbona hujauliza Mwenyezi Mungu kwa nini amehalalisha mbuzi? Mwenye kula nguruwe ni mtu kwa hana wivu.
Uislamu umekuja umekamilika.
Hata wadudu watafuta amani, hawataki kuudhiwa na wao pia. Wala Uislamu haukuja kuwaudhi hata wadudu, ni makosa.
Abu Najma with kids. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. Abu Najma with kids. Abu Najma with kids. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Hadith.
On the next episode,
watu wasema Ayatul Kursi ukisoma kwa makini ni dalili ya kutosha kwamba hii Qur'ani ni kitabu cha Mwenyezi Mungu. Vile Mwenyezi Mungu huyu anaaminiwa na Waislamu amejisifu kwa sifa gani? Kama kwamba aonyesha kwamba maadamu Mwenyezi Mungu sifa zake ni hizi, lazima kila mtu amwamini Mwenyezi Mungu huyu. Sasa atakakueleza watu pamoja na hayo kwamba Mwenyezi Mungu anastahili kuaminiwa na watu wa Waislamu wote, lakini lao mtu hakuwa Muislamu hafai kulazimishwa kwa Muislamu kwa nguvu. Mwenyezi Mungu asema la ikraha fi din, hakuna kulazimishwa mtu yoyote kuingia katika dini ya Uislamu.
Qur'ani mwombezi wangu, Qur'ani pumbao langu, ni kitabu chenye haki huipati.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are now at the Arena 1. And over here we have player of the day.
I'm back to beat Hamza's team.
He's a diver.
I chose Surat al-Mutaffifin. I don't know the names, but Nabi Isa said, I am a slave of Allah. Is it Prophet Luqman?
1 point for this team.
Welcome to Active Sunday.
Things which will happen at the last day, which is very shocking.
Wailun lil mutaffifin.
That's not fair because I wasn't here.
It's a happy, happy, happy day. Oh, what a happy day it is for Active Sunday.
Kalamu imeinuliwa kwa watu sampuli tatu, yani hawaandikiwi madhambi. Wa kwanza mtoto mdogo mpaka atakapo balighi. Mtu amelala akaota, akazungumza, akapiga makelele, akabobokwa, haandikiwi madhambi. Na mtu ambaye ni mwandazimu mpaka akili yake itakaporudi. Yoyote miongoni mwenu ambaye atakuwa ni mgonjwa au ala safarin, au atakuwa katika safari, fa'iddatu min ayamin ukhar, anaruhusiwa kula kisha atalipa baadaye. Muhimu zile ambazo wadaiwa uziweke hisabu, na kila ukilipa uondoshe mpaka atakapomaliza.
This is the street quiz. We are back. What's your name, bro?
Mustafa what?
So I'm looking for country number 023.
Nairobi.
Turkana.
Nanti.
I don't know.
Ihsan inamaanisha Ni mazuri.
Right now I don't remember.
Hapana, Nairobi ni 047. Ukitaka kujua ni gani, tazama street quiz ndani ya Horizon TV. Bro, here is your t-shirt inshallah. Horizon branded t-shirt from Horizon TV.
Nachukua fursa hii kukaribisha katika kipindi chako cha kila wiki.
Neno hili fiqh ni ufahamu, yani kufahamu kitu.
La jirani nlipi, la mkubwa nlipi, la mtoto nlipi, la usiku nlipi, la mchana nlipi, hiyo ndio yaitwa fiqh.
Dini hii ya Uislamu kila kitu hatutafuti popote.
Kunywa maji atakavyo Mungu.
Kwa nini Mwenyezi Mungu ameharamisha nguruwe? Kwa nini Mwenyezi Mungu, mbona hujauliza Mwenyezi Mungu kwa nini amelalisha mbuzi? Mwenye kula nguruwe ni mtu kwa hana wivu.
Uislamu umekuja umekamilika.
Hata wadudu watafuta amani, hawataki kuudhiwa na wao pia. Wala Uislamu haukuja kuwaudhi hata wadudu, ni makosa.
Horizon TV, kurunzi ya taifa. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Kurunzi ya taifa Horizon TV. Assalamu alaikum kwa mara ya pili. Karibu tena katika kitengo cha tatu cha The Swabah Show ukiwa nami Mariam Mwacharo, na katika kitengo hiki ni masuala kuhusiana na afya yako kila Alhamisi. Leo kama vile nilivyokuarifu tutakuwa tunaangazia masuala ya hedhi. We'll be talking about menstrual periods, menstrual cycle, whichever you want to call it. Now, you know, in this era, in the 21st century today, having 50-something years after independence in Kenya today, we still have girls that are either shunned away from their homes when they get the menstrual period or when they start the period. They're girls who cannot talk about it. It's almost like a mental problem. So with me to discuss this topic today is gynecologist Dr. Gatembura from MDoc Hospital. We have Ebi Weyime, who is the founder of the Grace Cup Kenya, and we have Mulki Ahmed from Raise Officials, and they'll be here to help me discuss everything about the menstrual period, menstrual cycle, you know, what we are going to use, what are we supposed to use, how do we use it, and just maintaining menstrual hygiene. Karibuni sana katika kipindi.
Asante.
Right ahead, if I start with you, Daktari. I know girls out there are asking, what is menstrual cycle? What is a menstrual cycle?
Thank you.
Kindly just yes.
Yeah, thank you. I'll start with menstruation. Menstruation is, in a woman, the monthly shedding of blood. Under normal circumstances, in the absence of fertilization, the uterine lining, which is otherwise primed, is shed off. So menstruation is the shedding off of the uterine lining in the absence of fertilization. So that shedding of the uterine lining every month is the menstrual cycle. And the menstrual cycle is dated from the day the period comes to the day it comes again. That is the menstrual cycle, from day one to when it comes again. So
yeah,
that's the menstrual cycle.
One of the questions that we were receiving from our viewers. They were asking, how do I determine my cycle?
To determine the menstrual cycle is simple. All you require to do is to remember the day the period came to when it comes again. Then you count it is dated like the day 1 is when the period comes. Then you continue counting day 2, day 3 until when it comes again. So if it comes again on day 21, then your cycle is 21. But then you have to do it successively so that you determine whether this month it is 21, next month, and so forth and so forth. Yes.
Another question that came to us from one of our viewers when we were doing our survey is that sometimes I get my menses for 21 days, my cycle, when I, check it, it's 21, sometimes it's 24, sometimes it is 23. Does it mean that I am unhealthy?
Thank you. That's a very good question. Not exactly. Remember, menstruation is as a result of hormonal influence, and the hormones are produced in the ovary. Under normal circumstances, a menstrual cycle between 21 to 35 days is a normal menstrual cycle, as long as it is 21 every month, as long as it's 28 every month, it is 35 days every month. So as long as your cycle is between 21 and 35, it is healthy and it is normal. However, you require to go back and ask yourself, am I really counting the right way? Number 2, am I under influence of drugs? Could be I'm taking drugs. Number 3, have I changed environment? Number 4, is whatever I'm doing, am I under stress? Because all these are factors that can change your menstruation or your menstrual cycle.
So your environment can also change your menstrual cycle?
Yes, the change of environment.
If you're under stress, if you're taking drugs,
yes.
And this, can it have maybe detrimental effects to maybe your reproduction?
If it is not repeated oftenly, then that will be fine. But if it is a one-off, that is okay. But what is important is the regularity. The regularity. If it is regular, then you have no issue.
Maybe if I can come to you, Abby. The first time you got your period, what went through your head?
Well, I was in class 8 when it happened, and I remember it was a day before we had a school trip. And I kept thinking, God, why? Why now? This is the wrong time for this to happen. And I remember waking up and just finding blood, and I was in complete denial. The good thing was I already knew what was happening. It's just that I was still, to me, it was not the right time, especially now that we are going to Naivasha for a school trip. So I went to the bathroom, I showered, and I kept praying that it's not coming back. But then even before I left the house, it came again. And then, when it's a first period, it's like it's a whole...
It's a downpour.
Yeah. So I just went to my mom. I remember she was in the kitchen making us breakfast, and I told her, Mom, zimeanza. That's all I said. And she completely understood what I meant. And she took me to her bedroom and she told me, we discussed this, you knew it was coming. Here are the pads, you know how to use and everything. And she gave me a pack of Always. And I remember the first day when I went to school, I used the whole pack. Because to me, I thought every time you get a drop, you change it.
Yeah.
And then it was feeling uncomfortable and wet, and it's the first time. So I came back home and like, I need a second packet. And my mom was like, no, that's not how it works. That packet should last you the whole cycle.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my first experience.
So at least you had a little bit of knowledge, though not all.
Yeah.
I know that you have encountered such situations. You speak to many girls across the country, as well as Abby. What are some of the situations that you have met with these girls? Some of them, do they get their menstrual period without knowing that this is my menstrual period?
Yeah, most of them. I'll start with myself. Like I got mine when I was in class 7. No one knew about it. And we were in the age of like, this is a taboo. No one is supposed to know about your menstruation. I can remember I got it around March. My mom knew it 6 months later. Wow. So I was like playing around with my sister because I have elder sisters. I was like telling them, I need a packet of pad. And they're like, no, you don't have any menses. Why do you need them? So I was like stealing from them, sometimes taking my money, buying it. So my mom knew about it when my relatives came over. It was like a family celebration. So one of them saw a packet of pad in my cupboard. So she told my mom. When I came back later on from school, my mom was shouting at me. But then it's something that this made me like, you should talk to other ladies. Because being a Muslim lady, talking about your menstruation, it's a taboo with us. So in college, because I did clinical medicine, I'm a junior clinical officer currently. So I had guys, like I was going, when you're sick, they have to ask you, when was your last menstrual period? I used to shy off. And most of us get the pimples on our faces as such. So one of them told me, Mulki, you should be proud of yourself. Because this is something like most ladies out there are looking for it, they don't have it. So from that time, like, I wanted to advocate for it. So going out there, mostly in the rural areas, mostly the ladies don't know about it. They don't even know what the pad means to them. They only know using like the ragged clothes, the old dirty clothes, and they don't even know how to wash it.
Yes, I was actually coming to that. Abby, you say that you had your mom who gave you the support and told you, hey, it doesn't work like that. Hey, this is how it is. How did you learn about how to maintain your hygiene? Because, you know, dealing with all that situation, you know, your hormones are changing, you're probably sweating, and I'll come to you, Daktari, about, you know, symptoms, what happens to our bodies. How did you manage hygiene?
When it comes to hygiene, I feel there was a gap, because then you're told about this is how you use the pad and everything, but no one really gets in depth into why is this happening and how do I maintain the hygiene. And that's why you get sometimes some girls even shower even 3 times a day when they're on their period. So for me, when it comes to hygiene, I can say mostly it was just a personal thing, just having hygiene as an individual, and also learning from other girls, you know, going to boarding school and seeing how people are handling it. But I felt like there was no further guidance after that. And that's also why I came up with the Grace Cup, because it's not just about the cup, but it's about holding the hand of the girl, because I feel like there's a huge gap when it comes to parents and teachers, in the sense of the teacher is expecting the parent to do that job, and the parent is expecting the teacher. They're like, I'm paying you, you do this job, you know?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you find this girl, she's learning from either other girls or from the internet, and you know, with the internet, anyone can post anything.
Yes.
So they don't really have someone that they can ask questions and talk to, and that's where I come in.
Yeah, I'll definitely come back to you with the Grace Cup. Daktari, if I can come to you, what are some of the changes that a woman should expect when they're having their menstrual period? When you're having your period, what changes should you expect in your body?
Thank you. I would like first and foremost to take our viewers through the normal thing, and then when a child is born, and a female child, the child grows until a certain period which we call puberty, when the body, the higher centers in the body, that is in the brain, senses that now you are of age. So it sends signals to the ovary. The ovary starts to produce the female hormones, the estrogen and the progesterone. It is these estrogen and progesterone now act on the target organs, and one of the target organ is the uterus. It is the uterus. Uterus has 3 layers: the inner layer, the mid layer, and the outer layer. It is the inner layer which is the functional layer. It is the one that is acted upon by the hormones. So, having the effect of these hormones, the cycle, the menstrual cycle, is divided into 2 parts. The first part, which we can call it the first part, proliferative, and then the second part, which is the luteal cycle. In between is when you expect ovulation to occur. So the period before ovulation is proliferative. The period after ovulation is the luteal cycle. The first part is under influence of a particular hormone, the estrogen. The second part is progesterone. So when you are expecting your period, you are already in the second part. You're already in the second part. That is the period after ovulation. So the things to expect generally, number one is there may be cramping. You feel like the uterus is cramping. The uterus is cramping. Other people, the cramping is associated with nausea. Other people, it is associated with vomiting. You feel like you also feel like the abdomen is bloated. Other people have change of moods. Mood changes. That is, the mood changes, and they even become very temperamental.
That is why people say, why are you menstruating when you get angry all the time?
Yes. The other thing is that they feel relatively hotter than before. They feel hotter than before because of the effect of the progesterone. It's the progesteronic effect.
So your body temperature rises?
Yeah.
Okay.
To a certain extent. Actually, if you measure, it rises to about 0.5 degrees of centigrade. Then, the other things that may happen is that some people may become depressive. they have elements of like depression. All right? Like depression. And other people become, like now depression plus becoming temperamental, they look like they are in a phase of themselves. They look like they are not the same individual that you know. All right?
Like they're undergoing some crisis of some sort.
They are undergoing some crisis. But then when the period comes, they kind of like feel a bit of a relief. They feel kind of a relief. It's like you have opened a tap and whatever was inflicting or affecting them, it's getting out. But these things do not necessarily happen to everybody, and they can also happen in degrees or levels. There are some people who can walk the journey through the period, and the flow would last you a normal 2 to 7 days. So you can imagine between 2 and 7 days, some people would take 2, others would take 3, others would take 7. Anything beyond 7 is prolonged.
Okay.
So within 2 and 7 days, you expect your flow to come. There are some people who can walk during that journey or that period without much of a problem. They would still continue to work like before. There are some people who are in between, such that they just have to take drugs to contain the problems, and commonly is the period pains, the cramps. They have to take drugs. The severe degree.
And we'll definitely come back to that about the drugs and the effects, maybe if they have any effects or such kind of thing. But let me just take your attention to me back. Let's just take a short break. When we're back, we'll take a look at all these things that you're seeing on the table. These are some of the products that girls are using today. We look at the interventions, how to maintain your hygiene, and then also talk about menstrual cramps, medication, as well as exercises that somebody can also do to relieve menstrual cramps. See you in a bit.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Walk with us as we tell you the stories of our society.
Wengine atavaa mtandio kichwani, utafikiri ni kijihandkerchief.
Enzi za wakati wa kusema ati alisema, akasisitiza, akihutubia wanahabari, enzi hizo hazipo tena.
Kuchimbua na kunakili matukio kwa undani.
We want to create current awareness,
ranging from adventure, human interest and inspirational stories,
ili kuweza kukuelimisha, kukuburudisha na kukubumbuisha.
Words have been said, but now it is time to lay the foundation that will impact the world.
Terrorism is terrorism, no matter who is behind the trigger.
Abu Najma with kids. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. Abu Najma with kids. Abu Najma with kids. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran.
Horizon TV, kurunzi ya taifa. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Na mtazamaji, karibu tena katika kitengo chetu cha mwisho katika kipindi hiki cha Swabah Show. Tunaangazia masuala yako ya afya, ikiwa leo ni Healthy Thursdays with Mariam Mwacharo. I have with me a very good panel of people. I have Mulki Ahmed, I have Ebi Weyime of the Grace Cup. I'm so excited about that. I have Dr. Gatembura, who is a gynecologist. And if you look at, what is in front of us here, we have some of the products that we girls usually use when we come to that period, that time of the month. So we'll definitely delve into them. We have the tampons, we have the panty liners, the sanitary towels, and we have the cups. Daktari, question to you. You talked about menstrual cramps. Ni kawaida kwa msichana kuumwa tumbo, kiuno, mgongo, miguu, kichwa wakati wa period?
Oh, thank you. That's a very good question. I would continue from where I had started, that menstruation is a shedding of the inner layer of the uterus. So as the inner layer, it is being shed, the uterus has to cramp, kind of to crumble, to get rid of the layer. So under normal circumstances, you can experience cramps, but not cramps that would affect your daily or normal routine. Those are simple cramps, and that is normal because the uterus has to cramp, kind of to crumble the inner layer so that the inner layer gets out.
Ideally, you can go on with everything that you're doing during the day. You can work. That is normal.
Undisturbed, yes.
What about wale watu ambao they don't even get off their beds?
Yeah, those are two categories. There are those that have to require drugs every month, maybe drugs to take orally or drugs to get injected. There are those people who are injected on a monthly basis because the pain is incapacitating. It is making them maybe not to be able to work. It's affecting their daily work. No, that is not healthy. Then we have the other category that they have to be maybe admitted to be given medication. So the period pains, some of them you have to, maybe we advise them, the clients, to come to us because other than being normal, it could also be abnormal because of other factors, like the uterus could be having some growth, like fibroids. You could have conditions like we call adenomyosis. We could have others, endometriosis. So the fact that you are having period pains, you require you to find out if it is affecting your routine. If it is affecting your routine, then you require to come to us so that we find or we examine and do some tests to see whether you actually have a cause for the period pains. So don't just stay at home.
Yeah, thank you daktari. That is very important kwa sababu kuna wasichana ambao niliweza kuzungumza nao kabla ya hapa kwenye kipindi ambao hawangeweza kuja hapa, wakasema kwamba mimi nikipata siku zangu za hedhi huwa siendi kazini, siendi shuleni. Na najua kwamba Mulki umeweza kukutana na baadhi ya wasichana hawa ambapo katika community they are almost like shunned when they start their menstrual period. What advice do you give them?
With them, like I say, a story makes someone change.
Yes.
So most of the time I use my own story or someone else's story to inspire them. So at the end of the day, baada ya kuongelesha, unawasikia they're like, okay, from now onwards I'll be doing this and this. So most of the time we go to the primary schools, we go there, talk to them. So talking to them, we have to differentiate with them. We have to tell them, like, when you experience the period cramps, the painkillers you should take. So we usually leave the painkillers with the teacher, either the class teacher or the headmistress in the school. So we tell them, like, if it gets like an extra mile, you have to go to and see a gynecologist or you have to go to the doctor and you get to be reviewed. So most of the time I take them through the whole journey of menstruation, like how it occurs and all that, and the period pains and how they should go about it.
I know that you usually also you run a fund, a pad, a smile.
Yeah.
I'll come to that very quickly. Let me come to you, Ebi, the Grace Cup. What made you come up with the cup?
So personally, I used to be very heavy when it comes to periods. So I would use a tampon and a pad at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to be that heavy. So I got to a point, I just started thinking, well, this is very, I used to really hate the feeling of having a pad, because you feel like it's like you're wearing a diaper and it's something that you have to walk around with. You don't have a choice. So I simply Googled. I was like, oh, is there something else? Is there something else in this market? And then I came across a menstrual cup, and the first time I saw it, I thought, what? No.
Yes.
No.
If you can just have a look at it, I mean, this whole of this.
That's the small. That's the big size, and then you have this, which is a smaller one.
Okay, do they have a difference for different flows?
Yes, so that one, the pink one is called the Grace Cup Light, and it's for someone with a light flow. Also, that's the one that we distribute in schools for schoolgirls. Also, most first-time users start with that one. And then that one, that's 15 ml. And then the clear one is called the Grace Cup Gold. That is 27 ml. That's more for an older woman, also a woman who's very heavy, because 27 ml is a lot of blood, as Daktari would testify. So this is someone who is very, very heavy. This other one is someone from a light to a medium flow.
And this is made of silicone?
Yes, medical grade silicone. So it's the same kind of material that they use in hospital catheters. Also the same kind of material that they use a baby's bottle, the one that they suck on.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Yeah, it's made from the same kind of material.
Oh, okay.
And both cups will last you 10 years, and you only need one cup.
10 years, one cup.
It's a 10-year product, yeah.
Explain to me how, you were, last time when we spoke on phone, you were in Kakuma.
Yes, just came from
One
Kakuma.
of the biggest questions I know you've also gotten, and we Muslims have, especially even with the tampon, it's because you have to insert it in there, you have to insert it. And that is psychologically traumatizing. And at the same time, we always question, am I breaking my hymen? Is it breaking my,
Virginity.
Virginity?
Yes, the virginity question is a big question. I'm sure also Daktari might shed light on it. So there's always the question of some people, even now, some people believe there's nothing like virginity. So what we usually say at the Grace Cup is your virginity is not here, is not at the opening, at the vulva.
It's not at the,
Yeah, that's not where it is. It's up here. Where the cervix is. So some people just say it's a transparent lining. So they say if you ride a bike it will break, or if you climb a tree it will break. Some people say you must have penetrative sex for it to break. So there's all these myths and misconceptions. So it depends with what culture that you're approaching, because the thing is, I'm not going there to tell them what they learn is wrong. I'm just trying to add more on what they already know.
Yes.
So depending, because I've dealt with so many cultures all around Kenya, everyone has a different perception of where the virginity is. But in short, the cup, the moment it's inserted, this is where it's sitting. So it's not going all the way up to where the cervix is. So you see, something like a tampon is absorbing your period. A cup is simply collecting. So it does not need to go as high as a tampon would necessarily have to go for it to absorb. So this is where it's sitting, which means that your virginity is still intact. So when you use a cup, you're still a virgin. There's nothing has changed with that. And that's why right now we have girls as young as 13 years old in Kibera already using the cup comfortably.
Oh, great. Let me ask you, how do I insert the menstrual cup?
Yes, so there are different ways of folding it. So this is one way of folding. It's called the C fold because it forms sort of a letter C. Another way of folding it is called the punch down fold. So it's folded like that. Then a woman would squat or one leg up, and then it's inserted into the vagina, and then it opens up like that. So it pops open. And then as you can see, the cup has 4 holes around it. So the holes, they create a vacuum to make sure that no leakages happen, also no air goes in, because air is what normally causes the bad smell when you're having a period. Most people think that a period has a smell, but a period actually doesn't. It smells just like any other blood.
A period doesn't smell?
No,
so
a period
when you
has no smell.
It is
the exposure to air and also the products that you're using.
Wow.
Yes, because you see, a cup is chemical free. there are no chemicals. Like what I said is that's all that there is in the cup.
Yes.
But with the pads and the tampons, there are all these chemicals and toxins that have to be put in. And that's why sometimes women react and get rashes and get basically infections from using such products. But with the cup is just the silicone.
Let's just hold there.
Yeah.
Daktari, if I can come to you, the question on virginity first. Answer that. Using a tampon like this, I know that you've seen, you know, such devices, and this can swell a large amount, you know, can swell to a particular diameter when it's inserted, and when it starts absorbing, it swells. So does this or a cup break your virginity?
I would like to start with normal anatomy. Virginity, the definition of virginity is anybody who has ever had penetrative sex. As you enter the vagina, we've got a membrane at the entrance. We've got a membrane at the entrance, which we call the hymen. The hymen is not sealed. The hymen has a hole, and that hole is the one that allows blood to get out. So if the hymen didn't have a hole, you would not be having periods. The fact that you have you're having periods and you've never had sex, it means that your hymen has a hole. So it is through that hole that you insert your tampon. So the tampons don't affect your virginity. Because there is a passage through which blood comes out, and then you can use your tampon, you can use your cup.
And that hole, is it flexible? Because I'm imagining if that hymen hole is that size, the tampon, when it's dry, it's that size, so it tightens. But when it starts absorbing, it swells. So is it flexible?
The hymen is at the entrance. You push the tampon beyond the hymen in the vagina. The hymen is at the entrance of the vagina. Okay. So when you push the tampon, it is slightly beyond the hymen. So it is always in the vagina, not at the hymen level.
Okay. Talk about, she just talked about, you know, infections, chemicals, odor, bad odor. Sanitary towels do have chemicals, right?
Yes.
Are you saying that they could possibly affect, you know, healthily, affect a girl who's using them?
It depends on who is using, under what circumstances. That is the hygiene surrounding that particular individual.
So what kind of hygiene should we practice with sanitary towels? Because now we know there is chemical hapa ndani na inaweza kutuathiri kiafya. Twende vipi?
Number one, you've got to be clean. You've got to clean your perineum. You've got to keep your perineum clean. Number two, when you wear the tampons or the pads, you've got to change them not later than 6 hours. Not later than 6 hours. Because when you keep them there longer, the blood that you see is a very good media for bacteria. Like she said, when it gets exposed, the bacteria, now you come to blood. Because a very good media means they grow. They come there to survive. So that way, you get infected. And when you get infected, then become very severe. In fact, there is a condition, and like maybe the cup do not subject clients to that. But the rest of them, the tampons and the pads, if they are kept longer than the normal period, you can get what we call toxic shock syndrome.
Yes, what is that? I was actually just about to ask, what is toxic shock syndrome? Because when I was talking to some girls, they were saying sometimes when I wear this or when I wear this, I get this sharp pain inside my vagina, and I feel like it's a needle that has been inserted. Is that toxic shock syndrome?
No, toxic shock syndrome is an hygienic surviving with the pads. For example, you are using the tampons and they have lasted you longer. You've stayed there, they have lasted you longer than the expected time. You're using a pad and you've overstayed with them. Then the blood becomes a good media for bacteria. And bacteria, there are several groups and types of bacteria. So when it comes, they produce poisons, which we call toxins. Those poisons or the toxins now enter the blood. When they enter the blood, now they affect your system. Wow. And now you go into what we call toxic shock syndrome.
And you can easily get UTIs? On your menstrual period?
Yes, you can get UTI, not necessarily because you're on menstrual period.
Okay.
But it may be because you are not following the hygiene. Following the hygiene, because the UTI is infection in the urinary system, and you know it opens at the vulva, at the same area where the vagina is opening. So bacteria can enter into the urethra, and then you get a UTI.
And that brings me to you, Abby. Some of the advantages of the cup is that bacteria cannot grow on it, right? Yes. Please tell us more.
So when it comes to infections, because that's the question that I get a lot, because this is a reusable product.
Yes.
So what we say at the Grace Cup is, again, hygiene plays a very big role. So chances of you getting an infection, me using a cup and you using a pad, you have higher chances of getting infections than me who's using a cup. Because the cup itself is non-porous, non-absorbent, which means that bacteria, yes, can, if you're handling it with dirty hands, of course, it can stick on the cup, but chances of it surviving and actually now causing the TSS are very, very low. So when it comes to hygiene, this is definitely a more, a better product to use when it comes to hygiene.
Okay.
Something else about it is, well, a woman can stay with the cup for up to 12 hours with no need of changing. So you see something like a pad, it's usually actually advised to change after every 4 hours.
4 hours.
After every 4 hours you need to change. And for most people who cannot afford it, they buy the maxi pad that they can stay with it for up to even 12 hours, which is really not as advisable, even as Daktari has already said. But you see with the cup, everything is already inside, and like I said, it's airtight.
Yes.
So basically, there's no outside interference that is coming into your system at that point, because everything's already closed in. So it's usually advised to stay with the cup for 12 hours. Then after 12 hours, what happens is, as you can see, there are 4 holes around the cup. So what you need to do while taking it out, you don't pull it the same way you'd pull a tampon. What you need to do is you need to use your 2 fingers and grab the base, so kind of pinch the base.
You pinch it kidogo.
Yes.
Okay.
So the moment you grab the base like that, then it releases the vacuum that you had created.
Okay.
And then you just take it out, pour it out in the bathroom, in the shower, wherever you are, and then just rinse it with plain water. No soap is needed. So just rinse it with plain, clean water, cold water, or even warm water. Rinse it with water, then you rinse it. So it's only after the period is completely over, that's when you now boil to sterilize.
Yes,
Boiling
I was coming to that.
Yes, so you boil it to sterilize. Another way that you can do is get very hot water and soak it in a disinfectant like Milton's, but what's best is to boil.
Boil.
Yeah.
So definitely, I know you've had this question so many times, but just to clarify kwa watazamaji wetu.
Yes.
Do you use the same sufuria you cook ugali in to boil the menstrual cup?
Hiyo swali biulizwa sana, and the simple answer is no. What you need to invest in is a small sufuria. The sufuria doesn't have to be big. Literally, sufuria yenye tu ukiingiza kikombe ndani maji itajaa alafu unachemsha. So usually those sufurias hata zenye unapata in the market for like 200 bob. That's all you need to invest in, and na hiyo itakuwa ni sufuria yako ya kikombe, itakuwa ya kwenda tena kupika chai, kupika hapana. No.
So I feel because of that, there's no need of really trashing the menstrual cup after your period. You have it for 10 years, which is, I think, advantageous, because sanitary towels, you buy more in the day and they don't decompose in the environment, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing about the environment as well. So they usually say in a woman's lifetime, because most of your life as a woman, you're going to be menstruating anyway.
Yes.
So a woman uses about 6 trash bags, the big black bags, zile za takataka, with menstrual hygiene products. That comes with the packaging, the leaflets, the cover, the tampon itself, everything. You're using 7 to 8 trash bags in your life. So you can imagine sisi wote, we are
all
having...
the women in the world.
Yes. So you can imagine what we're doing to our environment. The cup itself is not biodegradable, that I will admit, but then compare it to how many pads you're using in 10 years, and I've used only this in 10 years.
In 10 years.
Yeah, so also think about what you're doing to the environment.
Okay. Before I come to you, Daktari Mulki, after hearing all this insight, you personally, ulikuwa ushawahi kusikia kuhusu the menstrual cup?
Yeah. Being in my field, like, I've been through all this, the cups, the tampons, nini. But I know the question goes to me advocating for the pad for a smile.
Exactly, yes, a pad for a smile. A pad for a smile, yes, it is expensive. Most of the Kenyan girls cannot afford it. So why not a cup for 10 years?
Yes, that's like, a cup is a sustainable thing. Like, I was even talking to Abby before we came here. So it's something we are advocating for. So, because for the race officials, we do the pad for a smile in 2 phases. Our phase 1, we had to cover the ladies with a 6-month pad stock. But the pad is not something which will sustain them. Like it will not be enough for them. We give them one pad for a month and we don't know their flow. So for our phase 2 and for the upcoming one, we're looking into the reusable pads and also for the cups.
Menstrual cups.
So for the cups, as she had said, a cup is an expensive one, but it lasts you for long. So for the pads, let's say it's 100 in a month. So that's 1,200 in a year. It's almost for like the cups. The cups can go for like...
Yes, that 2,000 shillings. So if you can use 1,200 in a year, and then 2,000 shillings for 10 years,
10 years, yeah.
Which one would you go through, you know? Okay. Daktari, she was talking about the menstrual cup, you know, the benefits of it, about the environment. What would you advocate for you as a doctor, as a gynecologist, as compared to sanitary towels, tampons, and the menstrual cup?
Oh, thank you. My comment is that all of them are good. All of them are good. Depends on where you are coming from. Number 2, there are some people who are in setups that are better than others. For example, those of us who are in Nairobi, we don't have issues with water. We don't have issues with hygiene. Most of us are working and so forth and so forth. If you are to compare us with an individual who is up country, maybe like places like Turkana and otherwise, and maybe for them to get a cup of water may take them many days, then maybe the cup may not do well for them. Maybe. However, because the question is, do I use this water for the cup or use this water to cook? So it depends, but all of them are good. What is important is for the user to determine the flow, okay, and what is good for her. What is good for her. If you use it the right way, then there will be no problem. Of course, some of them have more advantage, like it is more economical to use a cup. It is friendly, you know. You can use it when you are asleep, only change twice in a day. That is after every 12 hours. This one you've got to change every 4 hours. But again, it depends. It depends again on the culture. All right? The culture comes in. Because there are those people who say there's a no-go zone.
To deal with your insides.
Yeah, it is a no-go zone, all right? So when you interfere with there, then you never have a husband, you know, and so forth and so. So cultures would come in, and then you have, again, even us as individuals, we have our own beliefs and myths.
Yeah, let me very quickly come to Ebi very quickly, because time is now running out. Ebi, I know you have encountered such a question. You were in Kakuma last week. This is an area that resources are very, very little.
Yeah.
You did encounter the question about, you know, water and the cup?
Yeah. So the question about water is just handled very simply. So to sterilize the water, you literally only need 1 cup or 1 glass. One glass, as compared to like a washable pad where you're going to need a lot more water. So like I said, you only need a space or the amount of water that can cover the cup. So literally if you have a glass of water and put in the cup and sterilize, that's it. That's all the amount of water you need. So like when I visited a place like Kakuma, and even the other time I was in Marsabit, the thing is, these people, they cook, they clean, they bathe, they do all these things. Where are they getting this water? You know. So unless we're talking of like it's a dry spell, like it's a like they have not seen water in months. Those are really extreme sides.
Yes.
But when you actually go onto the ground, it's not what you see on TV. These people survive. These people eat. The same way as street families. People look at them and they say the cup cannot work with the street family because of water. But you do realize these people clean their clothes. These people eat. They drink water. So I think sometimes we give them very little credit as people, because at the end of the day, you've told me you have a problem with pads or menstruation products. I've already brought you the cup. So it's up to you now to figure out, okay, how best will I use this cup? Where will I be getting this water from? Yeah.
Mulki, last remarks from you before we end the show.
Okay, on menstrual health, I'll say more on menstrual health. Like, people should break the silence on menstrual hygiene. We should not take it as a taboo. Because right now, my father is out there supporting me. Like, when I started this initiative of donating pads and all that, he's like, go for it. I'll always be there for you. You know, people should not think that menstruating, it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Mostly in our culture, Muslim culture, with all the myths and beliefs and all that. So in our culture, still advocate for the sanitary pads because we have all the questions and all that. But we should mostly overlook on our menstrual hygiene. That's the main thing. And us living in the urban area should also remember the people in the rural areas.
Yes.
Because since I do the community thing, when you go out there, they tell you, we lack these sanitary pads. We get to use the cloths. Because we were in Kwale and we encountered all that with the school kids and all that. And the government saying that they do provide the pads. You go to primary school, because I've been in a government school. They just give you like a three packets of pads in a year, and they're supposed to give you like every time you're supposed to get the pads. So, okay, it's a big thing. When you go out there, the government do tell you that we give out the pads, so you should not interfere with our schools. But we have to go down there and give it to them because we know what the ladies are going through.
Yeah, I think you and Abby can now come together, do business, talk about this so that we can help each other change the society. Mtazamaji, muda ndio huo umetupa kisogo. Bila shaka natumai nimeweza kuangazia masuala fulani ambayo yameweza kukusaidia wewe mtazamaji wetu, na vile pia kina dada wetu umeweza kusikia the advantages of the Grace Cup, and I think personally it has a lot more advantages. Say, for example, if you go to the schools and distribute, sanitary towels as opposed to, the cup. If they get the cup, they can do that for 10 years. And you forget about that. You just teach them about the hygiene. Definitely take a look at where you are, how you're going to help yourself so that you can achieve. If you're using the sanitary towels, the tampons, know your flow. Be hygienic, do not wear it for long, just follow the procedures, and also do your research and be able to, do your research and be able to help yourself and the community around you. Kama vile Mulki alivyosema, remember the people that, if you're in the town center, remember the people that are not in the town center, and just do research and help yourself in health. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for gracing my show. We'll definitely have more on this. I don't feel that we've exhausted it, but see you next time on the next show. Do not forget to tune in tomorrow, Swabah Show, Kesho with Aisha Khan at the round table, where she discusses thorny, pertinent issues. See you next time.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.